Welcome. Today our story takes place in Oregon, in the Cascade Mountains, back in 1997. It is allegedly true by those who claim to be there, but you be the judge. Before we begin, if you like this content and want to see more, then please like and subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. This is the tale of the Oregon Bigfoot. Bigfoot has been spotted all over the world and across all cultures. It is a legendary beast that haunts the dreams of many who have encountered it. When Jeff took to the hills of Oregon in the summer of 1997, he didn't expect to run face to face with this beast, and he hopes he never will again. Jeff was a very respectable and fit, outgoing man. He had been in the Marines and was a police officer in his last occupation. But now, wanting to settle down, he found himself a small town in Oregon, surrounded by woodlands and hills. Working as a deputy, Jeff really felt his life was all falling into place. He was eager and excited about his new life, and he couldn't have wished for anything more. Being an avid hiker, the location he now resides in was perfect. He loved the rurality of the town, and how unlikely it was that man had even been to locations he could now explore. On a particularly warm summer's day, Jeff finished his work early and spontaneously decided to take a stroll in the mountains. He grabbed some light supplies and headed off into the brush, intending on being back by nightfall. But little did he know the fear and unwavering terror he was about to endure. After walking for hours through rough unkempt terrain, Jeff arrives at a small glade with a large rock face. He decides it to be a good time to take a breather and uses this time to readjust his bearing. Facing his compass towards the rock, he notices something strange on top. Now, squinting his eyes, trying to get a better view, he thinks he sees a man staring back at him. Confused at how someone else would be in this location, so far from the town and away from the known trails, but there they stood. He could clearly see a human face staring back, but it made him feel uncomfortable. His brain seemed unable to comprehend the body proportions that the man presented, and he was wearing what looked like a fur jumpsuit from head to toe. As the staring continued, Jeff tilted his head to one side, and without hesitation the man-beast mimicked the movement. Now, engulfed in his mind, trying to take stock of the situation, he starts to believe that what he sees may not be as human as originally thought. Slowly, reaching down to his holster, he removes his firearm. Spotting this movement, the beast ducks away at an unnatural speed. Momentarily stunned, but more curious and scared, and with his years of fearless confidence from being Marine, he decides to investigate. He did not like the doubt in his mind, and needed to reassure himself that what he had seen was of natural in origin. He scaled the rock face and climbed himself atop a small tree, scanning for the entity. But after seeing nothing and convincing himself it had been a bear or other large animal, he shrugged and continued his hike. The encounter, however, never truly left his mind, and he kept a staunch lookout as he advanced. Moments pass, and the bizarreness of what had happened began to fade. But carried away by his thoughts, he had failed to see the sun dip below the tree line. It was beginning to get dark. He would need to turn back now if he had any hope of making it home before sundown. He knew how perilous an unprepared night in the wilderness could be. So pulling out his map and compass, he located a direct heading back to town. With the location of the previous event now way off to his left, felt confident nothing more would take place as he began his journey home. A loud snap boomed from his right. The noise stopped him dead in his tracks. The pure scale of it caught him off guard. He describes it as a large gunshot being fired in his vicinity. But nothing lingered nearby. No visible disturbance had taken place, and no one made themselves known. Again he heard it. It seemed closer, but was now emanating far to his left. However, with a quick scan, he saw a large shadow move through the distant tree line. Something was circling him, stalking him at an unimaginable speed. A third snap rang out, far closer than the previous two. At this point, all-encompassing flight now took control of his body as he fled down the mountain. Jeff was terrified. He tripped and stumbled his way down the hills, becoming battered and bruised as he fell. But the snaps never faded. All around him they would rumble with varying degrees of severity. And as the light slowly waned, the snaps appeared to be closer, constricting him, smothering him. The closer he was becoming to his freedom, the further he felt from it. Light embraced him. He had ran himself into a small opening within the woods, and as he halted, he spotted a deer, unperturbed by his presence and unexpected arrival. A calm fell over the field, almost giving way to the illusion of safety. And with the trees no longer blocking the sun, he felt safe under the glowing light. However, the deer was quick to lose interest in Jeff, and its eyes landed on something in the woodline behind him. Following the deer's gaze, he turned around slowly. The sounds of the forest now felt unnatural and forced. Sniffing the air, the deer spooked, dashing off deep into the brush. Jeff was alone once more. And the sun-basking glow now felt dark and unwelcoming. With his last ounce of strength, he threw his body forward. He was barely a half mile from his car and the safety of civilization. But each step was harder than the last, and the rumbling of footsteps and snapping of trees were close behind. Finally, he was out. Ripping his keys out of his pocket, he opened his truck and slammed the door. The woods behind him were now silent, but panic still consumed him as he endeavoured to start his engine. With a low grumble, his truck burst to life, and he drove away from the terror he had just endured. This story is from Jeff's own account. His testimony can be found here on YouTube and features in many other TV shows from the past. Jeff does not exacerbate or embellish the story for anyone's gain. He simply tells it as it is, which adds an element of credibility to his account. But again, we only have his word to go on for specifics. When back in town, he communicates the event to the sheriff, who to Jeff's surprise believes him, but also tells him that making a report would be a waste of time. The sheriff has received several similar reports throughout his years in office, and nothing ever comes from the investigations. Bigfoot is a worldwide phenomenon, spotted by thousands every year, and with new species always being discovered, and areas of the world largely unexplored, it's at least in practice possible for these stories to be true. I have linked in the description a map that shows Bigfoot sighting density across the US, and I think the evidence there speaks for itself. But what do you think? Did Jeff see a Bigfoot? Was someone pulling an elaborate prank? Or is there something else lurking in the mountains? Please comment your thoughts. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, then please like and subscribe. It is deeply appreciated. I hope to see you all next time.